So you have recently started playing chess and you are doing a lot of blunders. And you're wondering if you know the top players do the same, if grandmasters make the same mistakes as you do. Well, they usually don't. But when they do, it's epic to watch. So let's see a few moments when even the grandmasters have committed blunders. And let's see when and where they happened. So the first epic blunder we are going to see is from the World Chess Championship of 1972, the match between Spassky and Bobby Fischer. So it's the World Chess Championship and it's the first match of the 14. And Fischer is playing black, Spassky is playing white, and it's black to move in this particular situation. The game is an almost draw, but in this move, Fischer decides to take the pawn on h2. He does so with his bishop, and that changes the direction of the game. Why? Because Spassky decides to block the bishop. Now the bishop can't escape without sacrificing itself. And even if it tries to do something like like the king is definitely going to come inside and take this bishop, and the bishop can't escape via this move because if he does so, then the king will come here. And yes, he might take a pawn or two, but the bishop is gone, and Spassky is at an absolute win. So this particular mistake costed Fischer to lose the first match of the World Chess Championship. And even some drama happened in the second match because Fischer refused to play in front of the cameras, and he was almost gone from the World Cup until his teammates and his supporters decided to request him to come back to play the next match. Well, the next one is very interesting because it is between a human and a computer. So, in 1997, Anatoly Karpov was playing against the IBM's Deep Blue computer. This is one of the first chess engines. So, this particular blunder is even more interesting to me because it is not about any particular move. Although we are going to see a move that is move 37 of the game 2 of 1997 Kasparov versus Deep Blue match. But it is not about this particular move, it is about the mentality of the game. So, in this move, the move 37, White was playing as the machine and Black was Kasparov, and machine decided to go for Queen e3. Now, this particular move just confused Kasparov that what was White trying to do? It was such a random move that he thought, oh, he might be losing. And after a few moves on the move 45th, Kasparov resigned the game, thinking that he had a particularly losing position and he could not win. Only later analysis showed that Kasparov could have had this match in forced to a draw by playing properly, but he just thought that he was losing, so he resigned. So the blunder here was not the move in itself, but the resignation. Kasparov later even blamed that the computer might have had grandmasters, humans playing behind them, but IBM denied so. This match was even more important because it was not about one particular being winning against the other, but it was about humans versus machines. Can machines ever, defeat humans in a logical game in a mind? So this is another blunder. A match between Vishayanand and Gary Kasparov. Vishayanand with the white pieces, Kasparov with the black. And it's black to move right now. As you can see on the board, Anand is losing the game simply because he has a few less pieces, two less pawns than Kasparov. And Kasparov has a good attacking position. The queen is here. The queen is about to trade. Trade the queen for the bishop and the queen with his queen and his knight. But in this particular position, Kasparov has many possible moves. He can, push the pawn forward to try to trade this pawn by this rook by for this pawn by this rook. Uh, and Kasparov could also go for a trade of the bishop with the knight, as we were initially discussing. And once he does this, Vishy will take the knight, then Kasparov will take the queen, and Vishy will take the queen. So good enough trade. And as we discussed before, when you move down the line, if you have just a slight advantage, that advantage will be much higher when you have very few pieces on the board. So that is what Gary is trying to do. But he does not calculate it enough and he decides that taking the bishop with the knight or taking it with the queen would give me the same result because eventually I'll trade, and both pieces, four pieces will be off the board. So he decides to go this. Now, what this move has a problem. In this particular move, Vishy decided to take the pawn on b5, and that changed the game. This particular move made Vishwanathan Anand win this particular match. Why? Because now he has put three pieces under threat: the queen, the bishop, and the rook. And in this particular position, Gary Kasparov is about to lose his queen, and he castles, and he knows he's now going to lose his queen, but he has already taken a bishop, and the next he'll take a rook as well. But the queen, the white queen, goes on a rampage. She's just going to kill this pawn, and then this pawn, and then this pawn, and then, the queen is just set free without the fear of the other queen, and Vishy goes on to win this particular match. And all of this happened simply because of a particular blunder, the blunder when Gary decided to kill the bishop. Okay, guys, I swear this is the last Kasparov blunder, but in this particular video, we have Kasparov versus Karpov. Kasparov is playing as black and Karpov is white, and it's Kasparov to move right now. And in the situation, you can see that white is pretty much stuck and on the verge of checkmate. You see this pawn. If this pawn can take this pawn safely, such that this rook is not here, then white is dead because this position is blocked, this position is blocked. It's such a good checkmate that you desperately want to do it. And both the players had very less time on the clock. They were almost going to lose by time, so they are moving really fast right now. So, what does Gary decide to do? Kasparov thinks that, oh, why not make a move such that this particular rook is removed from this position so that in the next move I can just give white a checkmate easily. So, Kasparov decides to go for rook to a1 and thinks that if he takes my rook, then I can simply checkmate. And if he does not, then I can take the queen. But what Kasparov does not see is this move. And even there is a video where you can see Karpov simply writing this particular move, queen to g6, and he takes this pawn. And now the king is under a check. This pawn is defended. The king will have to move somewhere. And let's say he goes here, and then white can take the black rook, and white is up a rook. And when you are up a rook, you are almost winning the game. There is certainly in extra, special situations it might happen, but in a general game, if you are up a rook, you are winning. So in this move, Gary resigns and Karpov wins the game easily. So that's it, guys. These were the four blunders that I was going to show you today, and we learned a lot from them. Important lessons like you should, evaluate if you are winning or not before resigning. You should really check what your move is going to do, like what it was supporting and what it won't be supporting in the future. You should pretty much see what is going on in the board and more such lessons. Uh, if you want more such videos, you can subscribe to Chess Gaja. We have uploaded many important lessons on chess. And if you want to watch something in particular which we have not yet uploaded, do drop a comment and we'll upload it soon. Thank you.